You know, folks, I think I speak for millions of Canadians when I say that the most annoying thing about shopping at a large chain store these days is what too often occurs at the checkout counter. No, I'm not talking about rude or indifferent service. Rather, I speak of getting hit up for a charitable donation. It grinds my gears big time. We go to a store to shop, not to give. And if we want to give to a charity, and I reckon most of us do from time to time, I think we like to, select that charity all on our own. Presumably, the charity will be one that aligns with our values. Oh, and another thing, when the likes of Loblaws collects all those loonies and toonies and later presents that dough as one big fat six-figure check to the charity, guess who gets the tax deduction? Yep, the corporation, which didn't even donate a nickel. That's just not right. But check out the latest shakedown that's happening in Ontario. It is a monopoly doing the coercion at the cash register, and the charitable cause, I think, is ridiculous. I speak of the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. For the privilege of getting ripped off, the LCBO is asking its customers to make a donation to something called Tree Canada. This is especially irksome. For starters, I visit an LCBO store not by choice, but by necessity. Where else can I go to buy a bottle of scotch or bourbon? Actually, scratch that last beverage. I momentarily forgot that Ontario's chief cherry cheesecake eating enthusiast recently removed all U.S. sourced products from the LCBO so he could stage a $1 billion photo op. Yeah, take that, Donald Trump. No U.S. alcohol on LCBO shelves, even though all that product was bought and paid for by the taxpayer and is now occupying warehouses until who knows when. But never mind. The point is, in an LCBO store, I am a captive audience for solicitation. And I really resent it. As for this month's charity case, what in blue hell is Tree Canada? Well, I looked it up. Here is its mission statement. Quote, Tree Canada is the only national nonprofit organization dedicated to planting and nurturing trees in rural and urban environments across the country. Their goal is to inspire, educate, and enable Canadians to address climate change and integrate sustainable practices into their communities, end quote. By the way, shouldn't it be called Trees Canada? But I digress, because seriously, Canada is somehow in desperate need of trees? Do you know there's an estimated 318 billion trees occupying Canadian soil? In other words, folks, by my math, that works out to almost 8,000 trees for every Canadian citizen. And we somehow need more trees? What next? A charity that is devoted to raising money to put salt water in the Pacific Ocean? Oh, but wait, there's more. If the LCBO is really, really concerned about trees, why doesn't it get rid of its crappy paper bags? The LCBO brainiacs do realize that paper is derived from trees, right? Methinks the cashiers are getting an earful regarding this point, because each time I begin uttering my statement of, if you really want to save the trees, I get cut off mid-sentence and the clerk chimes in with, I know, we should stop using paper bags. Precisely. It's truly a no-brainer for the LCBO to go back to plastic bags. Plastic is designed for weighty items. Glass bottles filled with liquid weigh a lot. Or is the real goal behind paper bags that the LCBO wants to provide consumers with an inferior bag, one that easily breaks, thereby leading to the breakage of the contents of the package, that $90 bottle of scotch? That's a clever, albeit devious way for the LCBO to drive up sales, don't you think? Still, some people are shelling out the LCBO says it has raised $2.2 million for Tree Canada via customer donations, proving that P.T. Barnum was indeed correct when he opined that there's a you-know-what born every minute. But the LCBO did inform me that as a Crown corporation, it does not receive a tax deduction. So now I'm really confused by these charity shakedowns by the Ontario booze monopoly, unless the sole reason to do so is virtue signaling. The Tree Canada program will end later this month. I wonder what charity the LCBO will promote in May. I do know that in June, the LCBO will once again be raising money for various Rainbow Mafia charities, such as the ever litigious Eagle Canada. Come to think of it, maybe donating a loonie or three to something as ridiculous as Tree Canada isn't such a bad thing after all. I mean, at least the tree people aren't going to sue you if you decide not to celebrate radical transgenderism. Hey folks, when it comes to liquor and government does have a role. That would be to regulate the product. That would be to tax the product. But government's role is not to warehouse and retail the product. Please, if you can, go to our petition, sellthelcbo.com. That's sellthelcbo.com. Let's send a message to Ontario's alleged conservative government that it's time to get out of the booze business once and for all.